For years, the anime community believed that no live-action adaptation could ever do an anime series justice. Some people believe that the unofficial curse was finally broken in 2023 with the live-action One Piece series on Netflix. But is this really the case? While the anime strives to be a shot-for-shot recreation of Eiichiro Oda's manga, Netflix's live-action One Piece departs from the original material in various ways. Most are small, such as moving a fight or reducing the supporting cast to make the story run more smoothly, but some result in significant opponents being written off the show. Suppose you're a fan of the anime. In that case, you have already noticed a lot of missing stuff, settings that are entirely different in terms of architecture, and many situations that repeat themselves. Some of the altercations in the live-action One Piece adaptation have already started to spark intense debate among fans because nothing makes the anime community happier than disagreeing with itself. So, if you're curious if your favorite scene or villain made the live-action version, here's a list of the top 5 major alterations in live-action from the anime. Stay tuned, as number 1 will shock you. 5. Vice Admiral Garp and the Marines. The most perplexing feature is the overpowering presence of Vice Admiral Garp, Koby, and Helmeppo in the live-action adaptation of One Piece. Yes, they appear in the anime in the same capacity as in the Netflix series. However, they are notably absent in Luffy's first few escapades. Luffy rescues Koby and then leaves him to work with the Marines in both the live-action and anime episodes. While the anime continues his story after Nami's feud with Arlong is resolved, the live-action program drags him along. I believe Garp doesn't appear in the anime until the 68th episode. In the live-action show, he continues to pursue Luffy due to his paternal grandfatherly instincts. I believe the showrunner sought to give the plot a sense of urgency rather than matching the anime's more laid-back vibes. That's why Garp and his Marines were sent after the Straw Hats. In the live-action adaptation, he's also there during Gold Roger's execution, which is not the case in the anime. 4. Roronoa Zoro. Zoro first appears in the anime in a yard where he has been hanged to a pole for about a month without food or water. Why? Helmeppo, Captain Morgan's son, terrorized the village with his pet wolf dog a few days ago. Zoro objected and Helmeppo threatened him, claiming that if Morgan found out, he'd punish the mother and child that Zoro was attempting to protect. Helmeppo allowed him to accept the punishment for the two women or let them suffer for his arrogance. Zoro certainly accepted, which is why he is in that scenario. In the live-action series, we witness Zoro collecting the bounty of a Baroque works employee and then getting into an argument with Helmeppo at a pub. Zoro travels to meet Captain Morgan after Helmeppo assures him that he can have anything he desires. He is impressed with Zoro and encourages him to join the Marines. Zoro refuses, stating that he just wants the money for his bounty. Morgan claims that if he doesn't spend 7 days hung up on a pole without food or drink, he will be forbidden from receiving bounty from any Marine branch, and Zoro consents. Then, once Luffy frees Zoro, the live-action and anime incarnations resemble the fight against Captain Morgan. Nami, on the other hand, does not join them in the anime, but she is on the team in the live-action series. That's understandable, but Zoro's reason for being at the yard has shifted. He transforms from a selfless character in the anime to a self-centered douchebag. By the way, Zoro's emotional background with Kuina is revealed when he tries to escape from a dry well. It's both ironic and symbolic. Also, live-action Zoro lacks anime Zoro's goofiness and stupidity, which is why most of us love Zoro. Live-action Zoro is too cool to fit the anime Zoro perfectly. 3. Baratie. So Sanji and his friendship with Chef Zeph make it to the live-action series somewhat undamaged. However, the Straw Hats' entrance into the Baratie has been altered. The Straw Hats had a disagreement with Iron Fist Fullbody, a lieutenant in Navy headquarters. The Baratie suffers as a result, and Luffy is compelled to labor there until he pays for the damage. Sanji and Iron Fist Fullbody's feud is over. Gin from the Krieg Pirates appears in the live-action series, but doesn't get anything to do. Everything that occurs to Don Krieg in the anime is gone, and I mean everything. The anime shows us awesome combat between Luffy and Don Krieg, but that entire altercation has been erased. When Dracul Mihawk kills Don Krieg, he is relegated to a brief cameo. Pearl, the Krieg Pirates' invincible shield, has vanished. When it comes to Dracul Mihawk, he doesn't get the grand entrance that he did in the anime. He simply appears as a generic sword-wielding pirate hired by Garp to arrest Luffy. In the anime, an entire episode is dedicated to Zoro's past, which is why his confrontation with Mihawk carries so much weight. The fight between Zoro and Mihawk in real life is laughable. Mihawk slashing Zoro's chest is such a pivotal scene in the show, and the live-action version is so lackluster. By the way, if the plot isn't moving ahead, why doesn't the live-action Mihawk arrest Luffy since he's interesting? That's all the writers could think of. 2. Everything that takes place in Syrup Village. In the live-action series, there are no Usopp pirates. There is only Usopp. The rest of his character is faithful to the anime. The Straw Hats don't get to view the legendary Going Merry until they've finished dealing with Captain Kuro in the anime. Luffy picks Going Merry as soon as he arrives in Syrup Village in the live-action anime. Sham and Buchi, who are brothers, do not appear until the final act of the anime. Sham and Buchi are working with Kuro in Kaya's mansion in the live-action series. In the live-action series, Sham, Buchi, and Kuro are reportedly slowly poisoning Kaya. However, in the One Piece anime, Kaya was intended to be killed by a hypnotist named Django. Yes, neither Django nor Kuro's pirate force is present. They don't come to get him or anything. Kuro doesn't get to unleash his unique techniques on Luffy and everyone else in the live-action series. He just zips around like a D-grade horror film creature. In the anime, the entire confrontation between the protagonists and Kuro takes place in broad daylight in a valley leading to the beach. In the live-action series, the same event happens at night at the mansion. Usopp cannot inspire anyone because there is no Django or Usopp pirates. The Marines arrive because Garp has ordered them to track down Luffy and his companions. There's a nice scene in the anime where Usopp gets to enter Kaya's house. This does not occur in the live-action series. Kuro's visually spectacular history is missing from the live-action adaptation. Because the Black Cat pirates aren't present, the live-action Kuro simply boards a boat and rows away. 1. Arlong. The first time we meet Arlong and his band of fishmen in the anime is when the Straw Hats arrive in Kokoyasi village because Nami has fled with the Going Merry to collect her debt with Arlong. There's an entire narrative of why Nami owes Arlong so much money. What the locals think of Nami, how Arlong betrays Nami by making a deal with the Marines, and how the Straw Hats save her. The Arlong pirates first appear in the live-action series when one of them kidnaps Buggy and uses one of his ears that is still connected to Luffy's helmet to hunt him down and steal the map to the One Piece from him. When Arlong learns that Luffy and the others are in Baratier, he shows up in person and fights Luffy. Nami pretends to betray Luffy by accompanying Arlong to the Kokoyasi village and handing over the map to him. I'm not going to get into the physical differences between Arlong from the anime and Arlong from the live-action series, which muddies the continuous David versus Goliath dynamic between Luffy and the baddies, but what's the deal with this particular change? In the anime, Arlong wants to dominate the world and use Nami's map-drawing abilities to familiarize himself with every corner of the globe before setting out, but he won't leave until Nami's work is finished. His prowess is dumbed down to dizzying proportions in the live-action series. The anime devotes 14 episodes to Nami's past as well as the battle between the Straw Hats, the Fishmen, and Arlong. The live-action show performs the same in 3 episodes, with the focus moving between Garp, Kobe, Helmeppo, and Buggy. That's 350 minutes versus 180 minutes, or roughly 6 hours versus 3 erratic hours. Furthermore, the fight choreography, stakes, and overall performance pale in contrast to what the anime does to convey the seriousness of the battle between the Arlong pirates and the Straw Hats. Well, that's it for today. We definitely advise checking out the One Piece live action, so if you haven't already begun watching the live action series, now is the time to start so that you can judge it for yourself. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate your support. See you in the next one.